Good afternoon and welcome to Weekly Word. My name is Haley Halleck and I am the owner of Stitch Head and Heart Project out here in Cave Creek. I am also a certified consulting hypnotist and a Psych-K facilitator, both the basic and the advanced. This week we wanted to discuss, first and foremost, saying happy holidays to everyone. Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Christmas and all of those things to everybody out there who tunes in with us every week. We wanted to discuss something that's holiday related. The holidays are oftentimes a time of joy and happiness and time with family and all of those different things for a lot of people. However, for others, it's not. And a lot of people lose people throughout the year, and it'll be their first holiday without that individual. And there's a lot of sentiment and nostalgia that's built into holidays that will be absent with that person being absent. So that, and there are folks who just simply have had rough childhoods and some trauma and things that are associated to the holiday season. And so we wanted to kind of bring some attention to that, not to bah humbug anybody and not to bring the mood down for those of you who experience this time as a joyous event. But we just want to make you aware for the folks that aren't experiencing any of that kind of lowness or lack of energy or sadness over this period. Maybe you can volunteer or meet the needs of the community for those folks who are experiencing these kinds of things. But just to be aware is half of the battle. So we wanted to kind of focus in on those folks that are experiencing this and maybe come up with a few different solutions that we can speak to and that you can, for those of you who don't experience these things, can go ahead and help these individuals who are experiencing grief and loss during the holidays or just seasonal sadness. We wouldn't define it as seasonal affect disorder or any of those kinds of things, as it's specific only to the holiday season. And it's not a biological predisposition, but rather something that's environmental. So when we speak to those kinds of things, and not speaking to specific conditions, as those are different and those are treated differently from a clinical perspective. So just speaking to the holiday blues. So some of the things that we want to talk to and we want to recognize is those individuals that we notice in our communities that are isolating themselves during this time, that are lower in energy or lower in mood, that maybe have some irritability, or you can tell that they're weepy, any of those kinds of things. I wanted to focus in on making the community aware. And then B, what can we do about it as a community to support these individuals? And then what solutions can we help them with to foster a different experience for them? So some of the things that we had come up with, just three real quick things, is for those individuals who are experiencing these kinds of things, maybe they're aware, maybe they're not aware. Regardless, you notice a change in your friend, your colleague, whoever it is, that you're noticing their mood change. So some of the things that you can help them with, one of the first things is just redefining this specific season for them. So how do we do that? When somebody's feeling blue and down, they're not really interested in finding solutions for themselves. So how do we help them to redefine this? So maybe we help them come up with some new traditions for themselves, right? So if there's specific traditions that they experienced previously that are bringing on maybe a little bit too much sentiment and nostalgia, let's do something that is a little bit different than that, right? So for the ones that they can get through the sentiment of it and it's not a huge emotional hit, then go ahead and engage in those things with them. Invite them to dinner, invite them to your whatever traditions you have, whether it be caroling or wrapping gifts or baking cookies or decorating trees or, lighting the menorah, whatever it is. Help to redefine, take them out of their environment where there's all of that kind of stimulus that's bringing up all of the negative emotional response. So that's one way. Let's redefine it for them. Come up with new traditions with them and take them out of their environment. 2, altruism, which is still debated. But what we do know is through some studies that some social creatures do in fact get a neurological reward for doing things for the community or for others. So focusing in on that altruism and holding that individual's hand in that altruism. So what is going to give us that feedback? What is going to help us to feel that we are a part of a bigger picture and give us a paradigm shift to some degree? That's going to be things like volunteering, going out and working at a food bank with this individual and helping them to understand that while they are experiencing grief and maybe a little bit of low energy or depressive feelings, that there are a lot of other people that are in way worse situations than they are. And sometimes we just need to be shaken out of our own sadness to realize that we don't have it quite that bad. And in addition to that, even if we do have it that bad, that we're not the only ones, right? So to help them to hold their hands, to show up to those different kinds of events where there's soup kitchens or Goodwills, St. Vincent de Paul, all of those variety of different community resources and volunteering to kind of show them some perspective and help them to be a part of something bigger and to give back to the community so they can feel good about themselves. Another and the third and last component that we came up with was to just help them get physical, right? So I know that not all of us are out in Arizona where it's not that cold. So getting physical and getting outside and so on and so forth for places like where I grew up in South Dakota, it's a little bit different of an ordeal. However, that vitamin D feedback for the body is huge. So if it's cloudy and overcast like it is in South Dakota, you're still getting some of that vitamin D from the sun. And just simply moving, you can go ice skating, you can go skiing, there's all kinds of winter sports, here in Arizona. Go for a run, go for a hike, those variety of different things. Just go for a walk with that individual. Sometimes that's cathartic enough, and to be able to love your neighbor as you do yourself is huge. And what you get back from that is priceless. It's invaluable. So those are our suggestions for people who experience holiday blues. You can go ahead and apply that as if, you are doing this for yourself, this three steps in redefining and creating new traditions, altruistic volunteer approaches, and 3, getting physical, going out and doing stuff. You can do those things for yourself if you have the energy. You can reach out to somebody that you love and say that you are experiencing some kind of holiday blues or grief. In addition to that, for those of you who are conscientious of your community and the folks around you, A, if you're not, then B, and B, if you are, then do, right? So it's important to get out there and do things. I understand that our communities are more hesitant to reach out to those less fortunate than they were previously, like in the mid-century times, but let's just go ahead and do that. Let's step out this year and make a difference for our communities and for the people that are around us. I'm sure we all have somebody down the street that maybe we haven't spoken to, but absolutely needs that kind of love and support. Maybe they're alone. Don't let them spend their holidays alone. So that's our word of encouragement for this weekly word, and we are wishing everybody an absolute happy and wonderful holiday season, and we will see you in a couple of weeks after this holiday season. We won't have anything for next week. So wishing you all the best and happy holidays.